Opejo is saying, "How are you, Web? Thanks for the update. I have been admiring Ivan Toney for quite a long time. I like his physicality. Besides that, he is a good poacher. Welcome to the United Hotspot. This is the evening show. My name is Web, and we are here back to talk Manchester United. Call your friends, frenemies, in-laws, and outlaws, and tell them this is the time where we get to discuss Manchester United with passion, with love, with admiration, and everything we've got within us, because this is the club indeed that we do all love. Well, it's been uh, a day full of a bit of speculations about the club. Of course, not the most speculations I've had about Manchester United today, but a lot of speculation has been going on, and the last has been involving that Brentford striker who just returned from a long ban, Ivan Toney, and how Manchester United are seriously considering going for him. We'll talk about that in a bit, whether that is true, first of all, but also what it would mean. Do we really need Ivan Toney at Manchester United? That's the question. You can let me know. Give me your opinion. And already, like I've said, the gentleman there is clearly stating it that he has admired him for a long time because of his physicality. We'll talk about all that in just a bit. This is the United Hotspot. My name is Webb. Subscribe if you haven't. If you have beautiful stuff, have you planned or thought about becoming a member as well? You can do that as well, because this channel is for us to grow bigger. And Opejo, we are going to be discussing that goal poacher situation. Now, it is known that Eric Ten Hag has been an admirer of Ivan Toney for quite some time. It has been stated several times that Eric Ten Hag admires Ivan Toney because of what he brings, his physicality, like you said, Opejo rightly said it, his aggressiveness, his hunger. He's a bit crafty and handy, and you think he's sort of, I think, our modern day Luis Suarez, if you ask me. Let me just get this shot right for you. I think that's better. So he's, I think, sort of a modern day Luis Suarez. I would compare Ivan Toney to Luis Suarez. His style, his antics, his animation. You saw how he came in his first game after returning from that long ban. In the first game, the goal he scored was quite interesting. He had to move the ball, and Nottingham Forest had to actually seek the guidance of the FA to try and see whether what he did was legal in the game and stuff like that. He's a handy striker, and strikers like that always succeed in the Premier League. A bit that is a beautiful striker. But Eric Ten Hag has been interested in him. Yes, he has wanted him, but it has been clear. We know now that Eric Ten Hag is not the man who decides who we sign. If we are going to sign any player, we're obviously expecting the new boss, Sir Jim, and his team to have a hand in it. And in all honesty, I don't think in their first summer as owners of the football issues at Manchester United, Sir Jim and his team will really want to go into a bidding war with clubs like Arsenal for Ivan Toney. I honestly don't think that is a war they would want to go into, at least not now, maybe later. And I've been consistently saying it here that we as Manchester United should be involved in these big wars for some of these big players. These bidding wars are for United, and I know it. But I don't think this is the time for us to be involved in such bidding wars. I think it is early days for us to really really go into such wars. We need time to first come back and stabilize the ship, so that before we can think about going into such wars. I know also for a fact, and this is from sources close and within Arsenal and Brentford, that Arsenal have taken the lead, a strong lead in the hunt for Ivan Toney. Whereas he's wanted by several clubs, Arsenal have been in contact with Brentford even before his ban was done. Ivan Toney has been a top target for Arsenal for the longest time. They have had verbal bids and conversations going on for quite some time. I will tell you this in confidence. I know that I trust my sources, and they have had monies rejected. Talk about like 50. We're talking about money like 60, 70 million, because Brentford do want to get as much as they can from him. So I honestly don't think this is a player we have an advantage signing, whereas he's a player who should be admired, that any club would want to have on their team. He's a typical Premier League striker. I don't think he's for Man United. More so, the price tag, because whereas the Brentford boss did confirm that he could leave in the summer, The price tag is insane. They are saying you can go for about 100 million. Now, I don't think United can spend 70 million pounds on Højlund, and the following summer we are spending 100 million on Ivan Toney. I don't think it would make sense. I don't think the Glazers, even if Richard Arnold and John Mata were the ones making the decisions alone, like it were before, I don't think they would make such a crazy decision. I think honestly, in all fairness, I don't think we need to really think about Ivan Toney as a player for Manchester United. But there is news concerning other players that is emerging. Of course, I do know, guys, and I do want to insist that we do need another striker. But whichever striker United needs now should be a backup. We cannot go into the market. And whereas we've had times when we've had strikers like Rooney, Tevez, Babatov, all playing for United, which made us extremely competitive, which is a good thing. I don't think we want to spend. We are in a situation where we can spend 72 million pounds on Højlund, and in the next summer we are spending 100 million on Ivan Toney. I honestly don't think that would be right business. I don't think we are there yet. I think we need some bit of more time as Manchester United for us to first grow into a level where we can sign a 100 million pounds player after really scrutinizing them, because the biggest issue we've been having has been spending money on players who do not work. So, honestly, Opejo, whereas I agree, I admire Ivan Toney as well, excuse me. I admire Ivan Toney as well myself. I don't think he's worth us going into a bidding war, first of all, with Arsenal and Chelsea for him, and later on paying 100 million pounds for him, because like I told you in secret, Arsenal has been holding talks with people at Brentford, and they've been talking of 70 million, which Brentford were already turning down. So I honestly don't think, for me, that is right. In any case, we just need a backup for Rasmus Højlund, and that should not be a proven 100 million pound signing. I think there are cheap strikers out there who can come, and we can actually now look at Rasmus Højlund as our main guy. Whereas he has not been proven, the consistency and purple patch and the movement, what we've observed about Rasmus Højlund is enough for us to know that he should be our lead striker. Whichever striker we plan to bring in right now should be his backup, not one ahead of him. Before, when we were uncertain, we could have, but for now, I honestly don't think. And this is not to say that we are done with Rasmus Højlund. We are okay. We are 100%. No, we certainly, like I've said, there is a time when we had Babatov, we had Cristiano Ronaldo, we had Wayne Rooney. There is a time when we had, at the same time, we had, this is under Sir Alex Ferguson. These are the most successful Manchester United squads we've had. We had Louis Saha, when Saha came in the late 2020, the early, in like what, 20, Saha came in what, 2013, I think, or 2012. So we have always had so many good strikers. Don't get it twisted. But the circumstances then for me were different. The circumstances today at Manchester United, first of all, we want to trim down our wage bill and how much we invested in transfers. If we are going to do that, we don't start by bringing a 100 million pounds rated player who has not been playing football for almost 10 months because of a ban. Yes, he's good, but not worth 100 million. Also not for United now. Arsenal can go for them, because if you ask me, I've always been saying it, Arsenal has always needed a striker, but they have been pretending with Gabriel Jesus, who is good, but if they had a serious striker, maybe Arsenal would look more competitive than they do now. I don't care, about Arsenal. I'm just, trying to give advice to that small club. But so they can go into that bidding war for Toney. For me, I don't think Manchester United need an Ivan Toney. In fact, if you ask me, Rasmus Højlund, less proven, but has better potential than Toney. He makes better runs. He's I think a brilliant ball player. His holder play is bigger and stronger. He's more disciplined. He's calmer. I think Højlund has got better positives. The only difference is that Ivan Toney is more proven in the Premier League than Højlund. And Højlund is showing us every day that he gets better and he can score the goals. So why not trust him? Why bring in a bigger player to try and lift him by giving him pressure? I don't think kids of today are inspired by pressure. If anything, kids of today, Generation Z kids, are scared by pressure. Pressure inspires the old generation. That's why Alex Ferguson, and that's why he was always, eulogized as a great manager. He knew how to get the best out of his players. He knew that Whereas Rooney is my main striker. If you're going to get him performing, you will need to bring in other strikers to give him headache, to put him under pressure. He would perform well under pressure. Today, cause pressure for a young player, a 20-year-old, they will just shut down. They won't play. They want to leave. They will, they will become babies. This is the thing. Even your kids, I think, if you have children, they don't perform well under pressure. It's not like us when we are growing up. I think the younger kids of today do not want to work under pressure. Their management is different. So for me, I think we don't need to put Rasmus Højlund under that kind of pressure. We need to give. I think he has proven to us that he can be good. Give him the freedom to become the best he can become, because we are yet to see the best of him. I was telling people, when the players around Rasmus Højlund start being generous and giving him balls, Højlund will score 6 goals in a game before Erling Haaland ever does it. Easily. Alfred Sendue, welcome back, brother. It's been a minute without having you. He's saying, which one do you think Man United needs? For me, what Manchester United needs is a backup striker. And again, we cannot mention names now because, like I said, we are in a rebuilding phase where we don't want to rush into names. Well, I've spoken of the Stuttgart guy, the guy from Guinea, the tall guy. What's his name? Why is it skipping my mind? The one who could have got in Jan on a 15 million pounds buyout clause. Sahu Girassi. I think Sahu Girassi, in terms of abilities and skill, is behind Rasmus Højlund, but is more experienced than him. So if you want experience, such a player would come, but Girassi would sit on the bench and come in when Højlund is not performing. But also, he would improve if the team is looking good. He's 27, the age is ripe, almost the same as Ivan Toney. For me, that's the kind of striker I would go for, and he's cheap. If we went for such a player in the summer, I would be okay. Bring back Mason Greenwood. Go for, because the right wing is a problem. If you're not bringing back Mason Greenwood, I would listen if we brought in a player like Michael Olise, because he's proven in the league. And of course, you're not going to have a Man United playing with only reviews, because remember, we are going to have a massive clean out. There are reports now that have just come in. We know, and of course, this is what I was talking about in my earlier live today. I was telling you how Manchester United is scrutinizing and auditing and looking at player details and contracts and looking to offload. Sajim is looking to offload people who are surplus requirements. And of course, Christian Eriksen is victim number one. And there is no way Christian Eriksen will be playing for United at the end of next summer. He came on a free, first of all, and I think he has served us, but he should be moving on. There have been links of him going to Turkey in the summer. Apparently, he has turned that down. There is talks of Brentford being interested in him. Well, unless we are going to get Ivan Toney through a swap deal, offer Christian Eriksen, who will be running out of contract anyway, offer Christian Eriksen and then little money, but that's not a deal Brentford can take when Arsenal can pay 100 million or Chelsea can pay 120. So for Ivan Toney, I honestly think for me it's wishful thinking, but it does not even make logical sense. It will also disorganize what we are building. For me, before we think about bringing in any marquee signing, bringing in any big player at Manchester United now, we have got to first be patient, critically be patient with this team, but also we need to take time and study. And I'm not saying we should not make any signings in the summer. We should make 1 or 2 signings, but these signings should be very, very well informed. Not rushed signings because Ivan Toney is available and is possible. We want goals. We need a hungry striker, and we go for him and break the bank to buy him. No, I think the first thing United needs to do is clean out. Sell before thinking of buying. Before you buy, scrutinize your squad, those who have stayed, where are the missing areas. Look into our academy. Because it turns out our better players are the youngest players. Kobe Mainu, well, Alfred, this is an interesting one. Alfred Sendo is telling me, I'm very fine. You left me out. You enjoyed watching United at Old Trafford. Well, it was not even just enjoying, really. I was working. I was there for you people here on the hotspot. I did not just go there to enjoy, if I can't be honest. If I wanted to enjoy, I think I would have spent my time and money differently. I honestly was there to try and to see for myself. I had never been to Old Trafford. I've been to the Emirates Stadium. I've been to the Stamford Bridge. I've been to the Selhurst Park. I had never been to Old Trafford, and though I support United and I know almost anything and everything, and I know so many people at United, but I'd never been there for some reason. Of course, the first time I was in the UK, I was mostly in Birmingham and London, and I didn't really get time to go to Manchester. So I've been to Aston Villa, Villa Park, where we are going next. I've been to, it's in Birmingham, the West Midlands. I've been to, what else? Of course, some of these other, Wembley and what, but I had never been to Old Trafford. So me going there at the start of this year was very intentional. Of course, I wanted to be there because I was excited, first of all, by the arrival of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And yeah, I had to go and see for myself what the situation is, at least now, and then be able to come here and confidently give you heads up on what is going on with proper understanding. I think I can say now I have put together what I knew about United and with what I see, and I can authoritatively talk about the club. But also, most importantly, I've got a lot of contacts in Man United. I can brag about it without fear. I've got a lot of credible contacts with Man United, and believe me when I say we are not signing Ivan Toney. It's not happening. It is not happening. We are not signing Ivan Toney. But the talks you've had of what is happening now is studying player contracts, terms, and you see the people who are leaving Man United are not actually leaving by at will. These people have been fired by Sir Dave Brailsford. That's why this guy is all over. Is all over Old Trafford. So he doesn't need a lot of time for him uh, to 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 see a person who is not good at their job. That's why the negotiator has gone. That's why the former CEO has gone. What the director of football will go. That's why so many people are going to leave. Not, they are not bad people. They are bad at their jobs. It's not that they are bad people. They are just bad at the jobs they are doing. And it was evident for anyone to see. So that's what is happening. So what's right now, that's what is going on. Then at the end of the season, the talks will happen between Eric Ten Hag and Sir Jim and Ineos, of course. Sir Jim just gets reports. The way he works is he gets reports, once or twice a month, and he trusts his people to work. That's why he will take time to get the right people, to hire the right people. He's a beautiful manager. And later on today, I'll drop a video just explaining to you who Sir Jim Ratcliffe is. I know that not so many of you have got to really understand who he is. I'll drop you that video probably later on today. But yeah, Alfred said we appreciate your efforts in bringing information about our club, our loved club. Thank you so much. I thank you. But you do become a member, Alfred. You've been around for a long time. Become a member. It's very cheap, honestly. It's very cheap. Let me even share the link of how to become a member in the subscription. But it's so cheap, but very important because we need to grow together as a family of Manchester United supporters. So Alfred Sendwe, let me pin the link here in the comment section, so that you can join and become a member. You should be a member of the United Hotspot. Become a member, and here is the link. Let me even pin it for you. There you go. I've pinned the link which you can click on to become a member. So yeah, so Ivan Toney for me is not happening. I've consulted before I came here live. I've spoken to my people, and this is news. So we are not going into that 100 million pounds bidding war with Arsenal, Chelsea, and all these small clubs. No. For now, the focus is on ourselves. Before we think about adding anyone into the lot, we first need to clear out. You cannot be cleaning while you bring in. For now, we first need to clear out. When we clear out, by the way, the players who we part well with will determine which players we bring in, because the positions they play are the positions we are going to fill, and this time with cheaper but effective options. The plan is for Sir Jim to make these players understand that it's an honor to play for Manchester United, that it's not about the money, not money makers. We are tired of money makers at Manchester United. So someone asked me, Which one do you think we need? I think the first thing we need to do in the summer is bring back Mason Greenwood at whichever cost, which is no cost. The cost is the fear of the unknown. The unknown is what the cost is. What will happen from this small section of United supporters who are hypocrites, who pretend like they don't want him as if he did anything to them, but they want United to win. Yet we know that the right wing has been the biggest problem of the club. Imagine, for me, the two things I would want to do. The one player I would want us to sell would be Marcus Rashford. On top of course, the Antones. We can even give away Anthony if we have to. On top of the Antones, on top of Varane, and I will say Varane because Varane is injury prone. He's always a game away from the next injury, not because he's bad, but also he's earning a lot of money. So and he doesn't want reduced terms, but money. There is no more Premier League football for him. I think the intensity of the league is way too high for him. He has actually, for me, played too much football, and you don't want to leave. You should know when to leave and where to go. I think Eriksen forcing himself to stay in the Premier League and there is talk of him joining Brentford, I think is not good for him. But of course, some of these players are a bit proud. These Europeans are a bit proud. They feel playing in Saudi, and for them it's not about the money. Of course, already playing at Eriksen has got enough money than he will ever need in his life. His clan will be okay. His entire clan will be okay if he has put it to good use. But if he wants money, let him go to Saudi. I'm sure clubs in Saudi will be fighting for him. But Varane can go. Then Eriksen, Casemiro can stay a bit. I would have wanted him to go, but it seems his levels are not as bad coming back from injury. Judging by the West Ham game, if he can maintain those levels and even higher, I think we can keep Casemiro for about a year maybe, because we also need some experienced players, especially in the midfield. So Casemiro, because Varane is even a bench player, sort of. That's why I'm saying Varane can go, whereas he's good. Even Erik Ten Hag is clearly planning a future without him, because when Lisandro Martinez is there, Harry Maguire is starting games ahead of him. So Varane, for me, he can go, and we ease our wage bill and bring in a younger centre back who can grow with the team. But then you have Lisandro Martinez there. Harry Maguire is experienced and good enough. He can stay. And he's an English player. Of course, we have to have a certain number of English players in the squad. So Harry Maguire can stay. So Varane goes. Then you have Anthony leave at whichever cost. Even if we are paying clubs to take him, then that's the loss we have to take. We have to accept. I don't know what the payment model was for the 85 million. I hope it wasn't up front like it was with Cristiano Ronaldo when he was leaving Man U for Real Madrid. They had to pay the 80 million pounds in the Man United bank account up front. I'm hoping that was not the case with Rafael Varane, rather with Anthony Dos Santos from Ajax. The 85 million quid we had to pay. I hope that wasn't the case. I hope it was actually performance based. But if we had to pay the whole of it, even if it's in 5 or 10 installments, and we have to pay it even when he goes, it will be so painful. But Varane goes. Anthony goes. Marcus Rashford should be sold for nothing less than 80 million. If we get a PSG giving us 80 million quid, Marcus Rashford should go. When Rashford goes, just bring back Mason Greenwood and add in maybe a Michael Olise. You could bring in but anyway, but who needs Greenwood if you have Olise? Anyway? Rather, who needs Olise if you have Greenwood? I think if we brought back Greenwood, you have Garnacho on the wings. Amad Diallo is a backup for Greenwood. Have a proper backup striker for Rasmus Højlund. Then have someone. Yes, you can still bring in Olise because Olise can play both on the left and on the right. So because you cannot just have Garnacho playing all games all season, because again that wouldn't look good. So yes, you can bring back Greenwood, then we can invest in Michael Olise. I love Michael Olise, honestly, he's a baller. I just have reservations about his attitude. But these are things that I believe the new guys will really look into seriously and scrutinize and see which players have a good attitude that can fit into what they're building. I don't expect Ineos to accept players who will go to Belfast when they have a game in a day, in 2 days. I don't think that would happen. They would know such a player. They've got the experience to do that, really. So, yeah, who else should leave in the summer? Scott McTominay can become a squad player because he's our academy kid and I love his attitude. Even when he comes off the bench, he comes he comes with a good attitude. He's a work hardy. He's assisting. If Eric Ten Hag makes good use of Scott McTominay, the issues that we had with Scott McTominay were Eric Ten Hag putting him out there, yet we felt he should have been on the bench. But maybe he was forced into that because of his injuries. Maybe that's the reason. But Scott McTominay can be a substitute. So he can always come in, be a good impact substitute. And by the way, there are few players who can be good impact substitutes. And I by the way, think Scott McTominay, after he retires, will turn out to be a good manager. I think he will be a manager, and I think he will be a great one. So Scott can stay for now. I think I've had second thoughts and feelings about him because he's no longer a starter. When he's starting next to Kobe, that's where the problems come. When he's off the bench, I have no issues with Scott. So who else should leave? I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. Wan-Bissaka, we need to sign a right back. Yes. We need to sign a world-class right back. Yes, Diogo Dalot has improved his levels. I don't think he's still... He fits into what Eric Ten Hag plays, and he seems he's developing every day. He's growing, becoming better by the day. I don't think he's world-class yet. We need a world-class right back. Wan-Bissaka is good, but he's not consistent. Ever since he got that injury, Bissaka has dropped in his levels. So I think if we get good money for him, we can sell Bissaka and buy a world-class right back because it's so important. So that's another important area maybe in the summer. But again, this is now Webb. I'm not in yours. I've not scrutinized this squad by the way they are, but I'm now doing my own analysis of the squad. Who will leave and where I will replace. Then, but also for some of these players, we can look within the academy. We spent millions and millions to try and get the right holding midfielder, only for him to come from within. We've spent money to find the next Carrick, yet the Carrick has been within. Of course, he was young back then. 10 years ago, Kobe Maino was 8. So I can't say we shouldn't have bought these Morgan Schneiderlins and what. But maybe some of the solutions are within. And the beauty is now we have a manager who is good with youngsters, with kids. I think Eric Ten Hag is better managing youngsters than he is managing with senior players. That's why he struggles to even bench some of these players when he has to be benching them. That's why he struggled to bench Marcus Rashford. He struggles to bench Andre Onana. Well, he struggles to bench Anthony. But he's better with Garnacho, with Maino, with the young kids. He does it right. With Rasmus Højlund, the more senior players, the older players, the more senior players, because they are all young anyway in relation to him. But the more senior players give him headache. He makes all the wrong decisions when it comes to the more senior players, and I don't get it. But I think in terms of where we want to go, the future with youngsters, Eric Ten Hag can be a trusted guy. I think he's tested, approved, and trusted like Banner Boy. So yeah, Opejo, how for quite a long time I like this speaker. He said that is a good poacher. Yes, I think I've reacted to this. Alfred Sendwe. Yeah, I think I responded to you. What we need is to first clean this squad, and then after that we can then look back on who we want to bring in. But a right back could be important. Left back, Luke Shaw, depending on his levels, but also the levels that Malaysia has when he returns, because he has been off for a long time. Depends on how good he is. We could also go for a left back because Luke Shaw's best is behind him, honestly. And but also within the academy, there are some good youngsters, some good left backs we have there. There is Fernandez boy. I think we have some good youngsters in that academy. The Manchester United academy has got, even Eric Ten Hag said it with confidence, the future of Manchester United looks bright. And the future is within. It's not away. It's not away. It's not in players with Sir Matt Busby, Sir Alex Ferguson, all the Sirs we've had. If Eric Ten Hag wants to become a Sir as well, he has got to look within and build this squad from within. When he does that, trust me, he will also be knighted by the king of England. So that's pretty much like it. I think I'll leave it at that. I will be back at exactly 11. That's 5 hours from now. Those of you who are just leaving work, winding up with your work, get done with it. Those of you who are on your way home, get home, have your dinner. Those of you who are just waking up, yes, settle in 5.5 hours, just under 5.5 hours. I will be back here to talk Manchester United. and more news will be expected then. For now, Toney to United, it's not happening. I need to put that clear. It's not happening. Catch you later, fam.